it just brings back so many memories. And remember, like, how we felt
Oh,
at 17? It felt like the whole world was ahead of us, our
yeah.
whole life was ahead of us,
Yeah. Yeah.
and anything could happen, and only good things were going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What was the thing that the picture that goes through my head is John Travolta doing the
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not that song, but it's sort of that era, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
totally.
so
Totally.
good.
Oh my
So, so
gosh.
good.
Like I just, that song, for those of you that weren't here and missed it, was ABBA's Dancing Queen. Anywhere you go, when that song
Yeah,
comes on, every woman in the room is on the dance floor.
100%. It's like singing Sweet Caroline, right?
Right? Yes,
Everybody knows
everybody
it.
does. Oh my gosh, that's another
So
good
good.
one.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my gosh. And thank you for dancing with me. Hi, Kelly. I
Pleasure.
hope you were dancing back there too. Yes, I knew you would be. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here, you guys. There's lots of people that messaged and said, I have to watch the recording because I have an appointment. And I'm like, I know. For those of us that know me that are in this area, this is like middle of the afternoon on a Tuesday. But I like to, well, first I couldn't have it in the morning because I had the portal this morning, and we had a beautiful writing portal. We just did a work bee together and we're writing. It was just a wonderful space and we talked about what we were doing and yeah, I know we made giant leaps forward, all of us, of like, oh my gosh, okay, now we re-energized anything we were writing on or working on, and the portal, writing portal, could be program creation portal too. Like, so anyways, that's just one of the days that we meet. But I like to vary the times a little bit just to feel out where everyone is at, and
Mhm.
um it's totally fine. I mean, I used to do programs, record them before I presented them, and now I love the lives because we get the energy in the room, and my bestest friends are here. We are here.
Yay.
Oh, so, anyways, it is absolutely like today is like the best day of all of the ones that we're doing because it is the high energy frequency, live like an artist, lay back, lean back, feel the flow. And
Mm.
so I'm gonna bring that to you. Hello, Patty. Hello. You just missed us dancing to Dancing Queen. So I know you would have loved that one. I know. But play that after we're done here, play it and dance because it is just such a high vibe. And like I was saying, it just reminds us of like when we were younger and we just felt like we had all the time in the world to create what we wanted. I didn't even know anything about manifesting back then. I simply knew that I had lots of excitement for life, lots of ideas, lots of creative ideas, and infinite possibilities without even being conscious of that. So where did that go? Oh my gosh. So today we're leaning back into that. We're bringing that vibe back up because this is how we shift ourselves so that we can have our body, our business, our our bank accounts beyond our wildest dreams. Like, how does it feel to be in infinite possibilities? And how does it feel like to be a, an artist, to live like an artist? And I want you to think about a rock star and the way they live, their lifestyle. I mean, that was the lifestyle that a lot of people were attracted to because, first of all, like they were just in the realm of creation. They were just doing what they love to do. They were living the lifestyle, traveling around, like not worrying about anything. Everything was served to them. They go to hotels and they get it all. That was kind of the idea. But I know that those of us that outgrew that, you know, um, era of the wannabe, what were they called that followed them around? Um,
Groupies?
Groupie. I was catching the oopie, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Thanks, Patty. A groupie. I didn't actually ever have that urge to be a groupie, but that idea of being in your creative flow, like jamming with your friends or painting or just being in that. Like, wow. I remember one time when I said, could you imagine? Because, and I've said this before, somebody said to me, the people that, the creators on Disney, the creators of Frozen, they went to Norway and played in the snow to get creative ideas for the movie. And I'm like, can you imagine having a job where you were creative every day? That Wow. And I was teaching full time at that time. I still remember sitting around my kitchen table and my friend said that to me and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like to be creating every day wasn't even like in my vision. Do you want to build a snowman? Yes. They got so many ideas from that. If you've ever watched the shows that talk about how they created that. Like so many spontaneous scenes were from their playfulness. And that's how we need to live life. But we forgot how to do that. It's about becoming available for life to flow through us. You know, the making of art requires that we get out of our head. That's it, period. That's why so many people that are like, I'm painting, but I don't know what my style is. It's because you're too much in your head. Get out of your head, get into your heart, get into your body, let it land within you. Play on the canvas, play with symbols and shapes and circles and the brush and different tools and just play. Um, Learning to bring, learning to move with what brings you peace, with what brings you joy, with what opens your heart, what lights you up, all of that. You're living in a conversation with your soul when we live like an artist. We are living in a continual conversation between your soul and the creative intelligence of the universe. And I believe that one of the most powerful doorways into this way of living is surrender. That word that maybe you're so friggin' sick of hearing about, but it is a powerful, powerful process. And it's not about giving up or becoming passive or um, abandoning the things that you love. It's about letting go of that urgency, of the structure, of time, schedules, fears, forcing, pressure. We've attached our desire to all of that. Yes, I want that lifestyle. How do I do it? What do I create? What do I have to do? Right? That tension that we've put there. And I believe the reason is because we lost trust in the universe. Because we put our heart and soul into creating in our life and got sideswiped. We got knocked down. We got the breath taken out of us. We got burnt out. And we kind of went, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I can't trust that the universe is going to pick things up. I can't trust that I can lean back and be supported. And the problem is we decided that leaning back and being supported meant that everything was going to turn out perfectly. But there are no guarantees in life. There are no guarantees, but there is that beautiful vision that is there for you, waiting for you. It is there. You know what it is yourself. You know already what that vision is. And being able to say yes to that, yes to those desires, requires that we let go of expectations and we lean into trust, not only trusting the universe, but trusting ourselves, trusting that we are supported in so many different ways. And I can be the one on the other side of this arguing every single thing that I'm saying because I've been there. I can be the one saying, yeah, right. Well, who was putting food on the table? The universe certainly wasn't doing that, right? But I also know what I was entangled in during those times, that I can look back at my past and go, ha, now I see the gold in all of that. Now I can look back and go, I understand why that happened, to deepen my understandings about all of these manifestation techniques. I get it. And as soon as I do that, as soon as I shift from, oh, I can see the past as beauty, then I change the past, which changes the future. That's the beauty of this time, like not being linear, that we get to look back at the past, and as soon as we stop seeing it as a punishment and as the victim, we change the whole past and we change our future. It's so powerful. But what you want to be doing is coming back into the, I still desire this. I still want to be the creative. I am devoted to this and I am willing to follow the nudges. How it feels in the moment, we're going to get back to that. But one of the things as a creative, one of the powerful statements that I have read by Rick Rubin was, you begin with a question and embark on a journey. You let go of expectations of what you feel like has to be turned out. Like we get this urgency within us. And it's been very familiar to me, the energy of urgency. I know what it feels like. It's sneaky. It gets in there, wheedles in. Sometimes it doesn't always sound like panic because urgency is panic, but sometimes it sounds really responsible and productive. It's the right thing to do. It's the responsible thing to do. You need to figure this out now. Time is running out. You need more people. You need more money. You should be further ahead than where you are. Just, add one more thing into this program to make it even better. Just spice it up a little bit more. Do one more thing in the training before you start. Send another email, like create another offer. Keep going, right? Urgency slips into our creations and convinces us that it is ambition, that it's being driven, it's being like productive, it's being like a perfectionist, it's being like, I want the best for everyone. It tells us that if we stop pushing, everything is going to fall apart. How many of you feel that way? Yeah. If I don't take care of all these details, everything's going to come crashing in. And so urgency often looks like producing, right? It's dressed up in the outfit of production, being productive, productivity. And there's a difference between clear energy that says move now and the fearful energy that says hurry up or you're going to lose everything. And I truly believe that we need to take time to let go and be in that space for a long period of time for us to see that everything won't fall apart. It's funny how that works. We can sometimes get the inspiration to move fast, but that comes with a clear energy. Whereas when we feel like we have to move from contraction, that's urgency. But when we get that aligned inspiration, we feel alive. That's that life moving through us. That's that excitement. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get to this painting. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to create and write this book or create this program or run this class. Like, it's so exciting. And I was feeling that as I was like reading through my notes an hour ago. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, let's do this. I can't wait to do this. Let's go. But urgency feels kind of like your, oh, no worries, Kelly. Thank you. Love you. Urgency feels like you're being chased. Like something's going on here that you've got to keep on top of. And one of my biggest questions has been, how can I hold this huge desire within me without making it an emergency, without making it feel like I have to create something now. Like I can hold this desire. I can hold this desire for expansion without turning my life into a race, right? Without feeling like I have to create extraordinary success and ease up on myself. Just ease up and still feel that life is spacious, that I can rise in joy. I can grow in peace. I can create these desires and have all of that. Like, how do I build a business, a beautiful big business, and still have time for relaxation, for family, for nature, for painting and writing, for laughter, like my actual life? What if ease is not evidence that I'm doing too little? Because I feel that. Could it be this easy? The last couple weeks, I've felt that. I'm running the portal and the Creative Mystic certification program, and it is easy. And I have space. And I find myself shifting back into, well, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need to be doing more, right? But what if ease is evidence that I'm no longer fighting myself, but I'm coming into this flow of peace? So I want to just pause here and talk a little bit about those ancestral fears. You know, our ancestors were wired for survival. Their brain was wired for survival, and that was passed down to us. Those ancestral fears. Do you know that we need a ratio? They say now we need a ratio of 5 to 1 positive to negative interactions just to maintain a healthy balance. 5 positive to 1 negative interaction. Now, when you think about your day or think about yesterday, did you have that 5 to 1? Or was there a multitude of negative things that we experienced, even online, out there in the world, and 2 or 3 positive things, right? So we have, there's this called the Bader-Reinhoff effect, where we scan for what we want to see everywhere. There's this like cluster of neurons in the brain stem called your reticular activating system, RAS, and it actually lights up and filters reality to match your new awareness, your new intention, or your story, or your thoughts, good or bad. It will match it. It shows you a lot about what you're thinking and believing. It's confirmation bias. Your mind will show you what you believe. So if I believe that the world is a mostly really good place, then I'm going to start to see that. And it's funny because I'll walk through a day with somebody who believes otherwise, and they'll start complaining about this, and this. And I'll be like, oh, I didn't see that. Did that really I missed that, right? But because we get to decide what it is that we want, but our beliefs are kind of tied into that ancestral thing. It's in and what we need to do is recognize that what we believe, you get what you believe, not what you want, because your belief creates your expectations, and your expectations create a frequency around you. So the belief that I have to work hard, that I'm not supported, that life is hard, that money doesn't grow on trees, all of that is coming to us from our ancestors who had to work hard, who had to prove that they were worthy, all of that. But this is the lens that we see the world. But the beautiful part is that we get to make those changes. We can rewire our brain. We can rewire our beliefs. But what you look for, you will find. And selective memory will say, oh my gosh, it always turns cold. Whenever I don't bring a sweater, it turns cold. Is that the truth? No, probably not. But that's selective memory, right? Every time I get a day off, I have to work. Somebody needs something. It's like selective memory. Every time I get ahead, something happens to push me back. Every time I go out without an umbrella, it rains. That's not actually truth. That's just what we are remembering because we are choosing what we want to focus on. And so the reason I'm telling you all of this is because we get to shift that. Because our brain is a tool for us to use, it's not the one in control. We get to be in control. So, what if ease is evidence that I'm no longer fighting myself? What if it does get to be easier? For so long, we thought that peace is something that we get as a reward for after the work. Like, you know, it's something we'll receive after we create the result. So it's like, oh, well, after the money comes, I'll feel safe. After everyone's taken care of, I'll take care of me. After the problem's resolved, I'll trust then. I can't trust right now. I have to take care of this. I have to hold it together. I can't trust. And so what if peace is part of the creative process? Because I truly believe that peace is part of it. Peace is the way to the desired result, the manifestation that you are desiring. I don't want to create success and arrive there exhausted and disconnected from my family and unable to enjoy what I've built. So if I am creating a business right now that feels easy and effortless, that's beautiful. But as soon as I start to say, but okay, let's create a six-figure, multiple six-figure business, right away it moves me into, uh-oh, pressure, right? Uh-oh, I don't know if I can do that. If I can hold, I don't want to burn out, right? So what we're going to talk about today is about how do we hold that dream, that desire of what it is that you want to create in your life without the pressure, without the burnout, without the fears, because we want to live like an artist, live like the rock star. They were living a pretty relaxed lifestyle, leaning back. All they got to do is get on stage and play, jam, create new music, let it flow, and move on to the next place. So, what if we can live that way in our lives? Because I want peace woven into the creation. I want joy woven into my creation and spaciousness woven into my creation. And I used to be called a dreamer. And would hear, yeah, right, Janice. Okay, you are a dreamer. What do you think? The world is your servant? Like, yeah, the world is here for me. I want to build my life to resemble the life I'm asking to receive. I want my family and my relaxation not as rewards, but as part of it all. As I'm becoming that success, as I'm building that dream business, I want to do it with ease and flow and joy. And all along the way, I want to say, could it really be this easy? Oh, yes. Okay, no excuses. Let's just be there. I get to be who I decide I'm going to be. And it doesn't mean that I'm never going to experience discomfort. That is going to happen. It's going to be there. It does not mean that every step feels effortless because I'm willing to go forward. That gives me purpose. Work gives me purpose. But not I could slide into a workaholic real easy, and I don't want that anymore. So I'm no longer going to use fear as fuel because I've done that for too long. I've been there, done that. I want to create from devotion rather than desperation, and inspiration rather than self-abandonment. I want to let my desires call me forward without allowing them to chase me. Does that sound like a lifestyle we could all get on board with? I think it does. I think it does. So if you're here and you've been with me for a while, you know that the 4-step soulful A-line prosperity method is awareness number 1, awareness and presence, and awareness of not only being present, but awareness that we are infinite creators, that we are 99.9999% energy, that we are magic in this quantum field, and that we are source manifested in physical form. So we are the creative within us. Step 2 is inner coherence, means get out of the way, which is what we talked about last week or day 2. 3 is soul coherence, bringing that soul in alignment with all that we are creating. And then the last one is rising with joy into prosperity, expanding into our creations. And so if we are stepping into this infinite creative self within us, we are expanding in joy because that's who we are, and prosperity naturally finds its way in. But I believe creation begins with feeling, not pretending or affirmations that we don't really believe, but really being in the feeling, touching the feeling of the reality that we desire, and allowing ourselves to dwell there long enough for it to become familiar. Our visions and our meditations are our practice. It's practice. If you see it that way, it's like, okay, I'm going to vision what I desire my future to be because I'm going to practice holding it. And that's something we do in the portal. It's like practice holding that because as you do that, you need to be aware, step 1, of what's going on in your body when you practice holding that. We become aware of the old patterns and beliefs that are there. And that's when we do the inner coherence work and we start to shift that. How would I feel to know that there is time, that I am supported, that I've got this, that my business is growing and I still have room to breathe, that I've got like 30 women in the portal and it's okay. But you know what? When I say that, I feel a little 30 women. I better step up my game. No, there we go. there's a fear. There's something there for me to work on. And so this is where awareness comes in. It's like we play with it. We step by step, we find those fear frequencies and release them. But how would it feel if money was flowing in your life? I wrote it down here. My business is, well, maybe I haven't got to it yet. There it is, a few pages down. My business is an infinite money machine supporting me as a creative artist and business coach. Right? Well, how would that feel? So good. Money's flowing, and I don't have to abandon myself to receive it. And that's why it's like, oh, okay, the money just keeps flowing. I don't have to be the acrobat on that high platform that you're terrified of in order to make it happen. It gets to come because I am in my creative flow. I am expressing the art that is within me. My creativity is alive. My family receives the present version of me, not only the exhausted remains of me. Life is working with me. We often visit the feeling of our desire for a few seconds and then spend the rest of the day dwelling in worry. And that's the start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. We're not allowing the dream to grow. We get onto it for a few days, a few weeks. We go, yes, this feels good. We get inspired. And then after a while, we slide back down into mediocrity or into the negative environment around us. We can imagine the dream briefly, but we rehearse the fear repeatedly. So, living like an artist is to become intentional about the inner atmosphere in which you create. So, what's happening within you and navigating this? Awareness, presence, recognizing when the inner coherence is a little wobbly. So, we're not only looking at what is on the canvas, what is right in front of us, you're holding relationship with what's trying to emerge. You are creating without needing proof. Seeing beyond what's already visible, feeling into that image that is going to emerge on the canvas, staying with it. So important. The staying with it is pivotal. When we stop, it's like we got to build that momentum again. Instead of just continuing to go for it, to keep that frequency going, we stop. And then it's like, anything, riding a bike or whatever. Once you stop, oh, I got to build that momentum up again. But once I'm going, I'm gliding. But if I stop, oh, I got to build that momentum up again. So that is super important in that. And I began noticing something really fascinating about the shifts in my life, the big shifts that I've had. You know, those big epiphany moments? Those moments when you go, oh my God, everything changed. That was the moment everything changed. That was the moment I changed. That was like backed against the wall, and all of a sudden you put a boundary up and went, no more. I'm done with this. Or the moment whenever I had a profound realization, like those moments, I remember exactly where I was. Do you know what I mean? I remember sitting in my car when I suddenly knew what my next move needed to be. I remember vacuuming my entrance when I realized who I desired to be. And I said it out loud. It was like a pivotal moment. I remember sitting on my sofa when the awareness landed of how much abundance is available to us. That landed within me in such a powerful way. I remember walking in my yard, and when I really, truly embodied peace inside of me. And I remember sitting in my yard, that same yard, when I made the decision to let go and surrender my big, big problem to the universe because it was too big for me. I couldn't handle it. And I still remember the details around each of those moments. I can still picture my windshield in my car. I could still, in my entrance, I know which step I was looking at when that epiphany came through. When I was sitting on my sofa, I was staring at my dining room table, and it's still, I put myself there, I can see the table, and it was like almost like a light over the table happened. Like it just, I remember that because the scenes are imprinted within us. It wasn't intellectual, it landed in my body. It was like a whole experience, and words don't even touch it. You know that feeling, that image, the emotion, the knowing that landed in your body. And the environment became woven into that because we are all one. It is that energy of oneness that landed. Those moments aren't just memories, they're evidence. And they show you what you already know how to receive with clarity. This is huge, you guys. This is huge. You already know how surrender feels. You already know what embodied peace feels like. You felt that power within you. I know you have because you're here and you're listening to this, even if it's on the replay. You already know what it feels like when an old identity falls away and a new truth rises to the forefront. We spend so much time gathering evidence for our limitations, remembering the failures, replaying the rejections, revisiting moments when things didn't work for us. But your life contains a gallery of awakenings, a gallery of courage, a gallery of moments when you were guided, a gallery of moments when something shifted at such a deep level that you could never completely return to the woman you were before. I want you to recall those, remember those, recall the feelings in your body, because these memories can become portals into your next creation. We need to spend more time on these. That is when the creative flow poured through you, when your soul wisdom stepped up and came through. And yet we spend all this time on other things, thinking about them. So take a minute here and just think about one time, even one time. And like I said, it could be, the moment you felt relief, you felt certainty, a knowingness came through. Maybe you felt freedom, you felt peace or possibility, and how light that felt. Even though you maybe knew, like, there's so many women that were like, that was the moment I knew my marriage was over. And it shifted for them. Even though they knew they had a hard path to walk, that moment was clarity. That was wisdom coming through. That was their soul speaking to them. The moment that you're like, I got to leave this job. This is it. I don't know how I'm going to do this but that knowing. And congratulations if you had the courage to follow through, because that is not an easy path. And that's why I'm saying being the artist of our own life is not effortless. It takes courage. It takes the willingness to step forward, to be vulnerable, to step over that line and go, I am worth more than this. I desire more than this in my life. And, that sense of knowing that everything was going to be okay, right? No matter what, it's going to be okay. That was my moment in the car when I decided, like, no, I cannot continue teaching full time in a middle school for the next 25 years. It's like, I will not survive. I know that. Like it was a landing in that moment that said, if you choose this path to keep going, you will end up sick. The body will not keep going. And it was a hard choice to make because I felt like I was letting a lot of people down. But it was the moment when I said, you know what? I feel like everything is going to be okay. It's going to work out. And it did. And life supported me. Opportunities moved in. Grace moved in. It's absolutely miraculous how we are guided through those difficult decisions. But to live that way every day, to live in that openness of receiving that guidance every day requires awareness. It requires that we decide that we are going to place our focus and intention on our desires and our vision. It's not an easy path. You're not going to be given a pot of gold in order for you to be. I mean, maybe some people do, they win the lottery. But for most of us, it means that we are going to bravely step forward. We're going to be brave. We're going to be courageous. We're going to put ourselves first. And in that is a pot of gold. So as you continue to go back, and I want you to take time, even after this recording, to step back and think about all those moments in your life when you knew what you needed to do, when you knew that you were guided, when you knew that this freedom was here for you, when you felt it, those moments, and you step forward, because those are the portals into your future. We redirect our attention and intention, our focus into that truth, that beautiful thread, that golden thread that runs through us, that golden light, instead of on what we don't want to see around us. Remember, reticular activating system, what you look for will show up. We get to choose that. And as we do this, our beliefs then shift too. I believe that this is the path for me. I believe that I can create a life this way. I would not be sitting here publicly speaking on this if I did not believe that we could create a life of ease and joy and expansion, even within the hard times. Think of the qualities that came from those moments. What came forward in those moments for you? Was it trust? Was it courage? Surrender? Clarity? I got boundaries to put up. Expansion? Creative inspiration? I found that actually in my moments came trust and surrender more often than not. And the creative inspiration came after I started walking towards that trust, when I decided I was going to follow it, then the creative inspirations came in. But let that quality fill you up, right? And I want you to know that we cannot create an unpredictable future, a future that is full of infinite possibilities that we can't even imagine how good it can get, by staying in current predictable actions, thoughts, and feelings. We need to interrupt the pattern interrupt. We need to consciously shift. So as we move forward with this, like, okay, I'm going to create from that knowing. And I know everyone here has felt those moments of pure wisdom running through you. And I'm going to create from that. I also need to allow space for surprise. Plot twist. Allowing space for the universe to work its magic in the best way possible. So again, not moving back into control, because as soon as we go, oh, that's how I create. Okay, let me control this again. Right? It's like, okay, no, let go of the control, which is really hard for some of us because we're so used to being in control, because that's how we kept ourselves safe our entire life. We want to plan, improve it, and we want to know who, when, what, why, what do I do next? We have to be okay in the void, the creative void. But the imagination will give us the essence of the creation without requiring us to control every detail. The essence of what you're creating. The essence. That whole word is like delicate, right? Beautiful, ethereal. The essence of your creation. We can know the feeling without having to know the truth of what we have to create. Like we can know the feeling. I'll say this differently. We can know the feeling and we can know the truth of what we want to create. We don't have to know the how. We don't have to control it. All we need to do is that next step, that next aligned step. And this is where surrender becomes so incredibly powerful, because we allow space for life to surprise us. And we can be clear about our desire and not insist that it comes through this particular door. Always surprises me. Universe always surprises me with how it comes through with the manifestations. It's like, oh, ah. Last year at the retreat, which we're going to this year, the same place, I stood in the field with the horses, and the awareness landed that, oh my gosh, I thought I had given up on the dream of horses in my log home, and I was standing there living it. And I realized it's like my dreams, I had to let it go, because it's like I know the work that it takes to have horses and to have a beautiful acreage and a log home. I know all that work, and I had gotten to a point in my life where I don't really want that work anymore, but it was so hard to give up on that dream. It was so hard to let it go, because that had been my dream for so long. And I've had horses, I've been on the acreage, but I didn't have the log home. And then last year at the retreat, standing in the field with the horses around me, whoosh, in a moment, and I started crying, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here right now living it. We are in a beautiful log home, which is a lodge, but it's just gorgeous. Horses are all around me. I'm in the mountains, even. That was the other part of it. It's in the mountains. Universe, thank you. And that was the moment I decided that's where we were going for our retreat this year. That was it. Because it's like it came into my life in a different, through a different door. than what I expected. And so allowing that as soon as I let go of that dream, I let go of the expectations around it, it came in a different way. So the universe is full of surprises for us. Everything comes through in beautiful ways. We just stay clear on what we desire. We honor the vision, but release the attachment to controlling every step. So there is a beautiful book, which I've talked about before, called Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. And on page 90 and 91 is the scale of consciousness, the ladder of frequency attached to emotions. So, with that being said, the lowest frequency being shame at 20, and the highest being enlightenment, or enlightenment at 700 to 1,000. There's a whole range of emotions in here that goes from shame up. We're going up the ladder: guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, neutrality. Cool. Neutrality, willingness. I'm willing to give this a try. Acceptance, reason, love, frequency of 500. Joy is higher, peace is higher, and enlightenment at the top. So, what do you have to do to bring yourself up that ladder? Because no one else is going to do it for you. The world around us is going to bring us down because that's where you can control people. But as you move that frequency up, that's what I mean by pattern interrupt throughout your day. You're going to stop and go, okay, where am I right now? What am I feeling? And how do I take my stuff up a step? Which is why we play Dancing Queen at the beginning, which is why we play music and dance. If you're not dancing in your kitchen while you're putting dishes away, while you're eating, if you're not dancing in your backyard, like, come on, let's do this. Let's raise the frequency. Remember that feeling. We had that feeling maybe as a teenager. And my teenage years were not good, but I still had that feeling when I was on the dance floor. It was like, oh, freedom. Yes. Remember the feeling of driving the car by yourself? No one else in it. Oh my gosh. Those, we need to call those up again and again and again, because that is where we access this creative power. We rise up that frequency scale. We see the possibilities. We open to the possibilities, even if we can't see them, that our mind can't even conceive of. We're like, I am ready for more. I am ready for my next level awareness. I write that all the time in my journal at night. Universe, I'm ready for my next level awareness. Bring it on. Now, I don't write it every night, because as those awarenesses come through and epiphanies, which they do, they come through, I need time to integrate them, to mull in that energy, to understand it, to embody it, which is why I keep bringing stuff forward. Every time I get a shift of awareness, I bring it forward in these programs. There are conversations that will alter the direction of your life. There are connections that you haven't made yet. There are rooms that you haven't been in. There's possibilities that your current mind can't conceive of. There are people who will see something in you that you're still learning to see in yourself. The work is not to control every possibility. Your work is to become available, willing, open. We don't create our lives in isolation. We're continually being shaped by what surrounds us. And here's when you get to choose what is going to surround you. And a lot of women say to me, yeah, there's a lot of negative people around me. That's okay. Our loved ones can be there. They're relying on us to shift the frequency, to move all of us forward. And so, you know, those conversations we hear and the standards that we witness, the ways of living that are modeled for us around us, the expectations held in the rooms we enter, those are all influencing us. So when you spend time around people who live in urgency, urgency begins to feel pretty normal. And when you surround yourself with people who struggle, who are in scarcity, struggle begins to feel like the inevitable way. That's the way it is. But when you enter rooms with women who live from self-trust, soul connection, creativity, courage, possibility, something begins to change within you. And I read once, if your dreams feel too big for you, get in a room with people who have bigger dreams than you. Because then all of a sudden, yours feel a little bit realistic. When you are in the rooms with people who are working on self-awareness, personal growth, higher consciousness, shaking off the old ways and thinking in the new 5D frequency ways, you received lived evidence that another way is possible because they're showing you. When I step into rooms with women who are making multiple 6-figure business, 7-figure businesses, it just starts to feel familiar to me. It's like, oh, my dream was a little bit lower than that. So expansion starts to feel safer because, well, if they do it, then I can do it. Your desires no longer feel unreasonable because you're surrounded by people who understand them. They're not looking at you going, really? You are dreaming. What the heck? What drugs are you on? And that's why proximity matters. Calibration happens. It's not because another person possesses something that you don't have. It's because their embodiment reminds you of what is possible within you. You are not a dreamer. This is the creative frequency flow that is already within you. And I am becoming a multi 6-figure entrepreneur and business coach, partly because I'm intentionally surrounding myself with women who are already creating at that level and beyond. Their success doesn't guarantee mine. I do not say that I can just step in that room and it will happen, but it changes what I consider possible. It changes my beliefs of possibilities. It changes the conversations that I participate in, and it changes the decisions I'm willing to make, and it changes what I expect of myself. I don't sit in those rooms believing that they're more worthy or more gifted than me or more chosen than I am. There are no chosen ones. I sit there remembering that if this way of creating is available for the women around me, why would I automatically decide it's unavailable for me? Proximity turns possibility into something we can see and feel and begin to normalize. And the rooms that we enter become like rehearsal spaces for our identity. And if you did the 21-day identity challenge with me, living like an artist, and you found that identity and you were moved and inspired, and then it fell away, it's because you did not place yourself in the spaces that you need to be in to hold that frequency and to elevate into it every day. We're reminded we're human. We move up, we move down. We're in the miracle, we're out of the miracle. It's like, but when I'm in those spaces, when I'm in the coaching environments, my coach reminds me this is possible. And seriously, that is needed for me. Janice, it will happen if you keep going. And I need that. because I will drop down in my frequency if I don't keep putting myself in those spaces. And that's why I have the portal. That's why I created the Soulfully Aligned portal. It's not another place to get information. It's not another program per se, although there's lots in there. It's a room in which we continually return to soul coherence, a room where our desires are not dismissed as being dreamers, where creativity, intuition, prosperity, identity, expansion all belong in the same conversation. We're not having superficial, how are you doing today? How's the weather? Conversations. We're having deep soul conversations. And it's a room where we notice when urgency has slipped back in and we lovingly return back to peace, into divine feminine energetics, into knowing, is this a time where we have to lean back here and receive? Are you trying too hard? Or are you too much in that and it's time for you to take a step forward? And I'm going to push you. That's what it is. And what direction, what inspiration is the right movement forward? It's being surrounded by women who are also learning to live and lead and create without abandoning themselves. And you don't enter because you need someone else to give you your power. You come in because you understand the power of being immersed in an environment that continually reflects your power back to you. You bring in your light and you add to the light in the portal. It's not a place where we fix you. It's a place where we remember. And Mystics in the Mountains, our retreat, is the living, breathing, in-person expression of this work. It's the embodiment. It's an opportunity to step outside of routines and roles that keep you back. And remember the woman that you've always been. It interrupts the patterns because we go away, you get away from the environment, you interrupt the pattern, and you remember who you are, right? And the women coming to this retreat, they are choosing to turn their faces to the light. We are going to have deep soul conversations. And, you know, you get experiences that become those snapshots for you of memory of the portal that you have within you. Like one of those snapshots that you remember forever, those epiphany moments. It could be a conversation beside the fire that all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I just had an awakening. It could be just staring at the mountains. It could be painting with us. It could be with the horses like mine was last year. Any of those, it becomes one of those memories. And when we feel resistances come up because we go, well, I can't afford that. I can't take that much time for myself. It's too far away. I should wait till things settle down in life. I completely understand those. But before you automatically obey them, I just want you to become curious and ask yourself, is this my deepest truth? Or is this the voice that has always kept me close to what's familiar? And I understand putting something off because financially it's not the right time, and I don't want anyone to feel financially strained. I just want you to acknowledge, is there something there? Don't just shove it away and go, I can't afford that. It's not going to happen. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, I can't afford that right now. I don't have the money to pull together right now, but I do feel the pull. And I'm going to start to create a life where I don't have to say no anymore. That's what shifted me. I want a life where I get to place myself in these spaces and places. So look, because saying yes feels vulnerable sometimes. So look more deeply. And consider, why is time for everyone else considered necessary while time for me feels optional? We take care of everyone. And like I've said before, if you cannot carve 20 to 30 minutes out of a day for yourself, then something needs to shift. If you cannot carve 5 days away for yourself, there's something there to be looked at. But I'm not criticizing, I'm not judging. Everybody's life is unique and you have your own stuff going on. I just want you to feel into, because so often we will go, oh, no. I know my own sister said, why would I even dream about that? It's not possible for me. And I always felt like, oh, heartache. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. It's not even a possibility. How do you know that? Please don't stop dreaming. Don't stop dreaming. What's the cost of continually postponing the woman that you want to become? Your life, your art. Your life, your art. This is your life, and you get to create your art. I can't stress that enough. I just have this profound understanding, this deep knowing of what it would feel like to get to the end of your life and have lived it for everyone but you. And I'm not trying to force a yes into anyone. This is just a true invitation. I'm not trying to manipulate anyone here. This is your invitation to join us in the portal or join at Mystics in the Mountain. The women in the portal are going to Mystics in the Mountain because they know they want to be there too. They get it. So, and I also was thinking this morning that there's quite a few local women having, groups or whatever they do together, but I have never seen an invitation publicly out to people. And I thought there's power in the invitation to reach a hand out and say, come this way. You're welcome to come this way. You're welcome in this circle. It's not a closed circle. It's open. And it's not about anything but soul growth for you that is unique for you. So does part of you say, yes, I need this? Does it feel like peace underneath the practical questions? Your mind is allowed to ask how, but don't let the mind answer whether your soul is calling before you've taken the time to listen. Remember the 5-to-1 ratio to maintain a balance. So we want to flood our system, flood our interactions with more positive. So, final little message for you here is living like the artist means recognizing that your life is not something happening around you, that you're in relationship with it, that you're choosing what receives your attention, that you're choosing the feeling from which you create, and you're choosing which rooms shape you. You're choosing your beliefs, where to place your attention, intention, whether it's urgency or peace that's going to hold the paintbrush as you are the artist. You don't need to have a masterpiece or create a masterpiece, but you do need to remain in a loving relationship with your soul, with what's emerging, with this creative flow, to feel it, to dwell in it, to breathe, to listen, to allow that to come through. The Renaissance of Light is not asking you to work harder. It's asking you to become more available to what is alive. What is living life fully at the leading edge of creation in your life? Feeling alive and inspired and excited for more. Creating from overflow, right? And to desire without any desperation. I don't need anything. I don't need this business. I don't need women to join my programs. I want them to. I would love for them to join, right? Expanding without leaving yourself behind, trusting that you have something beautiful within you to create, whether it is business or it is just pure joy in your life. It doesn't have to be the biggest movement. It just could just be, I just want more joy in my life. Yeah. I want to feel alive. I want to enjoy these last few years of my life. I want to be excited and happy. And I don't want to sacrifice my life in order to create the life that I desire. So, what if it gets to be easier than your past has taught you to expect? What if peace does not slow your expansion but strengthens it? What if joy is not distracting you from your path but showing you the path? What if there's time? What if you are supported? What if you don't have to hold it all together all by yourself? And what if you get to finally trust yourself enough to soften step by step? Let the soul lead. Let peace become part of the plan. Let creativity show you what's here to emerge. Place yourself in the rooms that remind you again and again of who you are becoming. That's your invitation. And I'm so grateful that you are here with me today, you beautiful ladies that came. And the recording will be out really quick here. So I will, let me just do this here. I will see those of you on the internet. Be sure to watch the replay of this one and 1 and 2. You have it as long as you want it.